I'd just like to give a bit of a round of applause, but also I'd like to tell you a little story, if I can, just before I hand over to Michael Avery. My mother-in-law passed away a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And, of course, there's an estate which has to be wrapped up and so on and so forth. There were some complications because she didn't live here and so on and so forth, lived up north in Zim. And with Capital Legacy, we actually employed them because there was some of the estate was here. And for 2 years, they've been working quite hard at it. Not full 2 years, but there's things that have to happen in the estate, blah, blah, blah. But let me tell you, they are the most professional people that I've ever dealt with. So if you haven't got a will, or if you haven't used their services, I'd suggest you do so. Because I have been nothing but really, really impressed with the team. They, give you all the feedback you need. They do all the work. They do everything. They really are good. My little personal endorsement this afternoon, because it was wrapped up sort of like today, Friday today, and I thought it was worth mentioning. They really have been very good. Capital Legacy, your number one provider of wills and estates, so it just makes sense that they also now offer life.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me here in Solomon's Temple. I'm Solomon Izang Ashams. Good to have you here, all of you guys watching from around the world. Thank you so much for watching, just being here. Thank you for logging in. Thank you for sharing the video, for subscribing. I really appreciate you. Bongani says, welcome back, Uncle Sol and all the Bereans. Indeed, welcome back to everybody. Please check out some of the videos we made last week. There are some great content there. I'm sure you're going to find it interesting. Please do that. Now, I want to talk about a royalty in the person of the King of Zulu, the Zulu King, right? So I want to talk about the Zulu King, Misi Zulu. King Misi Zulu is a younger king. He's in his early 40s, I think, who was coronated last weekend after his father passed away last year. His father's reign was for over 50 years or so. Now, during a coronation of a king, especially the Zulu King, there is a lot of rituals that's done. And ritual, when you hear the word ritual, doesn't just mean something that's wrong, negative, So there is a group called Yenesizwe. It's a cultural group in the Zulu nation, very learned intellectual people also that are there to protect the Zulu culture. After the coronation, they came out all gun blazing, saying that some of the elements that was put on during this coronation in the stadium, where there was like thousands of people and millions watching online, was wrong. What was wrong with it? Well, this was what they feel was wrong. This photo here. So this is the Zulu King, as you can see him in his traditional outfit, being prayed for by 4 Anglican bishops, led by the Anglican, the head of the Anglican Church in South Africa, that is Archbishop Makoba, right? So they're all there, and you can see it's a stadium setup with so many people. This happened because they said he's a Christian, he goes to a Baptist church, and his dad was an Anglican. His late dad was an Anglican member, and they felt it is right to do this a biblical way, where he was prayed for. He's put his hand on the Bible. He was prayed for, and he was anointed, just like we saw in the Old Testament in the prophets, and also with King David. Right? That's what happened. And as you can see here, this is part of, they also had a ring for him. A special ring that signifies leadership, responsibility. You remember the story of the prodigal son and the ring. Now, for a lot of people, some people look at this and say, this is part of Freemasonry. This is part of a cult. This is even the Christian leaders, they're Anglicans, they're part of a cult, they're not really real Christians. I mean, everybody has their opinion, isn't it? I am not against bringing the Christian element to such an important institution in South Africa, the Zulu Royal House. Now, this group of intercultural Zulu cultural intellectuals now came out and said that is wrong to do that. First, this is a reintroduction of colonization. Because if you remember what the Anglican Church obviously stands for, the Anglican Church is part of the history of the British. And it was the same British who came with 20,000 strong army and destroyed the Zulu nation back in the 1800s. And who is the head of the Church of England? The Queen, the King now. So for them, the Anglican Church represents a total colonization. It's an alien to the African tradition, to the Zulu tradition, to the African way of doing things. So why allow a Bible? Why allow Anglican bishops who are representatives of the British Empire through the church? Why allow this? Because this is not our culture. This is a foreign culture. This is a borrowed culture. This is a culture that was imposed on us. I don't know if you agree with them. But the king, the new king of Zulu now, King Misi Zulu, he had no problem with it. His grand uncle, Mangosuthu Buthelezi, Prince, suggested that, and he was okay with it. So we're seeing a point where culture is meeting the Christian faith. How do we navigate it? Where the Christian faith, for some people, the Christian faith is a representation of the oppressive nature of colonization, which still continues today. Do you agree with that? And you see, for me, I do understand history and how the British Empire actually used the church. The church was a huge tool for them in their quest for colonization. The church was a huge tool for them in their thieving of our resources. The church was a huge tool they used to brainwash people and oppress us. That's true. But is there a God? If you oppress me with your religion, then definitely the problem is not, if you use the Christian faith to oppress a people, for me, the problem is not the Christian faith. The problem is the user of the Christian faith in the execution of it. Just because somebody used the Bible as a pastor of a church to steal money from people and deceive people doesn't mean the Bible is wrong. Doesn't mean the Bible steals from people. No. The custodian of the Bible in that context is the one that is wrong. His father, when he was coronated over 50 years ago, the same thing happened. He was prayed for. His mother was a member of the Seventh-day Adventists. And by the way, that's his uncle there. A lot of you guys may not like him, but the king of Eswatini is the first one sitting here. The king of Swaziland. I feel everyone, we should be able to penetrate into different institutions, traditional institutions, political institutions, economical institutions with the Christian faith. As long as it's not imposed. And as long as the two, amalgamation of the two, allow the values of the Christian faith to show forth. It's not about them even coming and praying for him and putting a ring on his finger and anointing him with oil. It's about how he's going to lead the over 5 million strong Zulu nation. That's what is important. And guys, I know some stuff about this king now that I don't even want to put out here. That is not good. But you always hope that people are going to change. Where does culture ends and Christianity begins? Or where does Christianity ends and culture begins? How can Christianity and culture dwell together? Is there a way that we can dwell together? What are some of the areas that culture and Christianity cannot dwell together? What are some of the contexts? And those are the questions we need to keep asking ourselves. Thank you so much, guys. God bless you. Just a short video to put my thoughts out there. I hope you're doing very well. Please make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you again later. Shalom.